Hi guys, and welcome to episode 7.5 of the Helmet Down podcast. The reason I call it episode 7.5 is because we did record an episode 7 last week. But clown by ear, his PC decided to have a fit and basically didn't record any audio after the first 5 seconds. So, yeah, this is episode 7.5. Deal with it. It happened. It's episode 7. So, we hop straight into the news of the Women's World Cup. That's been announced by Dorna to run alongside 6 rounds of the World Superbike Series. What do you make of it, Isabella? Also, I agree, Isabella with me.
Hello. I feel like I don't really understand it because I thought we were all on the same page of wanting to get a woman to MotoGP, and therefore would you not create kind of a women's mini GP, and then the winner maybe earns the spot into the World Championship at the end of the year, or alternatively like a European Talent Cup that's just women, and then the winner of that gets a ride in the European Talent Cup or something like that, because they're not the most competitive right now. But we'll see, we already have the Women's European Cup, which was announced in 2019. And I was just checking their Instagram, they have 900 followers. This has been around for 3 years now. I've never even heard of this. Where is the marketing?
It
It's
runs
basically going to
alongside
be
Chiv, I believe.
yeah,
Beatrice Neela's won it the last 3 years on the trot.
exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's literally the same as the W Series. It's the same winner, which gives me the impression it is not competitive. So, I mean, isn't it going to be the same riders as that in the
I
World Championship?
I assume,
Yeah.
yeah. I the only true bit of interest I have is I'm quite interested to see what machinery they put them on. If they're sensible, they'll put them on something like a Twins Cup bike, an RS 660, an R7, something like that. Something that has a bit of power and can allow you to develop your racecraft while also being big enough that you can grow into a machine. Because if you're putting them on a Supersport 300 bike, you might as well just go back to the Women's European Championship. This, I love the idea, absolutely, but I think once again, Dorna have cooked up an idea, completely half-assed it,
Hmm.
and this is the result.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it is going to be Super Sport 300 bikes, sorry, but I think it will
Yeah,
be.
I
But
assume so.
it's just to put women on a world stage, which of course we can appreciate, but I mean, if it's not competitive, then no one will care because anybody's going to watch racing that's competitive, but
Mm.
I'm just yeah, I was also thinking this might sound harsh, but are they not just giving out free handouts now to women to win a world championship? Like that's gonna ruin Anna Carrasco's
Oh yeah,
record.
yeah. Anna will still be the first, but she's not going to be the only for very
She
long
won't be
though.
the only,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I expect to see Anna in it, to be honest, because I can't see her keeping a Moto
No,
Three
no,
ride
no,
at the end
no.
of this. Even if they put
But
her in as
no, no, no.
a
I
like
just
a first year, same as Maria Herrera, I expect to see those two in it simply because it's the first year.
I don't agree with that because I think it's going to be a really quite low level series.
Hmm.
Mostly Italians and come on, Anna Carrasco was 30 seconds off the race win on Sunday. She is good enough to be here. She's not. She would beat those girls by a million miles.
Oh, of
She deserves
course.
to be racing against men. So I don't see what she would benefit from going there unless, publicity or
Yeah, that's right. I
yeah,
expect her to get paid an absolute boatload of cash by doing it to go and at least appear in one round. You know?
yeah, maybe do a wild card, but then it
Yeah,
would be boring for everyone else.
yeah. Which way does she go? Oh, she's finished. Oops. Because that's what it'll be. It'll be the equivalent of that. Like, I can't see her keeping a Moto 3 ride. That's the issue. So she will need somewhere to go, but I expect maybe back to Super Sport 300. But world stage against men, not this.
Exactly. And I saw something that one of your followers said. And it was, why are we creating a world championship just for women where we're
Yes.
fortunate enough that the physicalities don't really affect you in terms of we're so lucky that men and women actually can compete against each other. So why are they putting them in their own box?
Yeah.
I don't really get it. It's strange. We have women and men competing and then we have a women's It just needs to be one or the other.
Yeah, like like I'm not saying we should because it is 99.99% ed anyway. But there's no such thing as
Mhm.
like an exclusive men's World Cup. Like, granted, it's because
There
there's
we go.
no need for it, but it's like, like saying, "Oh, women can't compete in this." There would be uproar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And
confusing one.
that's the opposite of inclusivity, which is like all of what everybody's ever saying is like, but then why are we separating them? That's not inclusive. I don't really.
Mm,
But yeah, I hope that it's like a lot of nationalities though, because
yes,
as I
that
said,
that
the
needs.
European Cup is 90% Italian, so
Yeah, it does need to be a. It, if they're gonna do it, they should do it right. But so far, I don't think they've done it right, and we know barely anything, and I still feel like it's half-assed. So it doesn't bode well. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. I hope they make it a proper world championship with world championship level riders come 5 or 6 years down the line. I hope
Mhm.
there's grassroots and then support brought up through Ovales, through Talent Cup, through everything like
No,
that.
but they said it's not the end of the line career-wise. No, they said that it is.
Yeah, it is the
It's
end of
for
line.
people at the end of their career. So I think for young girls, like they should not even think about it.
There's no incentive, is there?
Exactly, it's for like old like Japanese women that are just like fast as fuck and they're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get raced in the world championships. Like,
yeah. 50-year-old go race the world championship
yeah,
for
I
the
can
first
see that
time.
happening.
Yeah, do you know what? So can I. See, like, Katja Pungson make a return or something.
Yeah.
Like, it would be cool and all, but it's like,
Yeah.
just like, when you think about it right now, who is the next best woman racer apart from Maria Herrera and Anna Carrasco? You're probably looking at Yvonne Serba, who's competing in the European Talent Cup.
I mean, I wouldn't even put like I know that she's quite rich, so I wouldn't even place her as good. I know that she doesn't even make it through the ETC last chance
She doesn't,
race.
but like she's the next one taking the right route. Then, shall we say, of
Okay.
Talent Cup
Yeah.
rather than like going through Supersport 300 route, which I do like. Like you're going to improve eventually through that route. So I think
That's true. I mean, yeah, if the winner then is like granted a seat to the real SSP 300, but then it's just
yeah,
if it's
that's
all
dead
older
ended
women, then
itself.
yeah, it's true. Like, because then they're never gonna win. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, just what it should be is if they do it prototype style, that will be a real statement. If they do, Talent Cup level bikes or something, and then the winner gets granted a route into the European Talent Cup, that's how they
Mhm.
should do it. But I absolutely can't see that happening because it's again alongside the World Superbikes, not MotoGP. So that says to me it's going to be your career is in that paddock, not this paddock. And then you're like, oh,
And
well,
there we go. They don't even care about what we actually want. But
it's all a
yeah,
bit,
I just think
it's a bit weird.
yeah, it's just because it's a trend, isn't it? So I'm not sure if it will be around for many years, but
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go that way, but already I'm thinking W Series. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, that was the big news. There was a test today for any information because, well, one, because we got a lot to get through after Jerez. So, this podcast's going to be long enough. And two, because I'm pushing it. Go and check the page for any info on the test. I posted quite a lot on there. But to be honest, most people who listen to this are going to follow the page anyway. So it's like, okay, crack on.
you did some good content today. I liked it.
Yeah, it was different. Keep an eye out for something I'm planning next week as well. It's going to be a biggie, like as in size wise. It's going to be quite large. So enjoy. And let's go on to our predictions before
Oh
we start
shit.
the race. Yeah, you knew this was
Oh.
coming. You knew this was coming.
Oh no, actually, mine was good. I think. Yeah. Fine.
Well, I mean, your MotoGP one wasn't, in all fairness, but
Okay. Maybe I cussed him. Maybe not.
yeah, well, I mean, you definitely did. So on Moto 3, let me just get the results up because my PC has done its usual freezing up and doesn't like stuff. In Moto 3, our pole position was Dennis Onchu. Ryan went for Ivan Otola. Isabella went for Danny Holgado, and I went for Jose Antonio Rueda. Ryan was actually the closest because he went Ortola, who ended up second. Uh, Onchu's best lap was a 1:45.6, which was just absolutely ridiculous. Sorry, I'm just loading up one thing here because in the test today, Onchu managed to pull out a 1:45.8, which would have
What?
given him, uh, second place in qualifying in Q2 in better conditions than the test was today. He was unbelievable. So yeah, Onchu quick around Jerez. But anyway,
Wow.
yeah, Ryan was closest because he said Ortolo ended up second. And the winner, as we all know by now, was back to back, Mr. Ivan Ortola. Now, Ryan went for Jaume Mathia, inside joke. Isabella went for Ivan Ortola. Look at this smug face.
Let's
And
go.
I went for Diogo Moreira. Well, Isabella won that one. Macia, for his credit, was on the podium. And Diogo Moreira somehow couldn't bridge a gap and ended up in 10th place. Big bad. Very big bad indeed. In Moto 2, the pole position man was Sam Lowes. Now, nobody saw that coming. I don't care who you are. Even the Brits were starting to doubt him a little. So for him to, as you'll see in a minute, answer his critics unbelievably well. Like, he took pole by over half a second from Pedro Acosta, who's supposed to be the next god. Like, wow. You know what I mean?
Does it mean Sam Lowe's is God? Yeah.
Sam Lowes is now the new goat. Like, he takes the title from Acosta. But in our predictions, Ryan went for Firmin Aldeguer, Isabella went for Manu Gonzalez, and I went for Barry Baltas. And I was actually closest with Barry Baltas, who qualified in 6th place. But yeah, there was a couple of others. Firmin was 14th, and Manu was 16th.
Yeah, they didn't have good weekends.
No, not at all, not at all. Manu was actually 1.3 seconds off pole, but like discounting lows, being 0.8 off pole and being 16th that's harsh. That is super harsh. And in the race, as I previously mentioned, Sam Lowes, wow, just wow, like took the lead from Pedro Acosta, said to him, "Not today." Off he went, bye bye, and won by nearly 3 seconds from the goat. Like, round of applause for Sam Lowes. Of the predictions, Ryan went for Pedro, Isabella went for Pedro, and I went for Arbolino. So you two got second places. My guy was fourth. We'll be discussing Arbolino in a little bit when we come to Moto 2 and an incident he was involved in. But I think fourth was his upper limit, so I'm good with it. And when we go to MotoGP, this is where I thought I'd pulled an absolute masterclass. Even up until Saturday morning,
Yeah.
I thought, oh my god, I've actually nailed it. But along comes Alicia Spargaro to take pole position on the Aprilia. Like, with a. I don't think he could have got any faster than he did. Like, I think he was at the limit. So for him to take that pole was very good. Of the predictions, Ryan went for Luca Marini, Isabella went for Jorge Martin, and I went for Danny Pedrosa, who we will get to in a bit, don't worry. But of the predictions, Isabella was closest, with Jorge Martin ended up third, qualifying on the front row. Danny was sixth, and Luca Marini was ninth. So, I mean, we ain't doing a points total here, but I think that's pretty even on the.
I'm the big winner.
Yeah, if it was B points, I think we're pretty close right now. Of the sprint winners was Brad Binder won the sprint race. Isabella, no, not Isabella, Ryan. Ryan went for Jorge Martin. Isabella went for Miguel Oliveira, and I went for Luca Marini. So with that, the closest was actually Jorge Martin in fourth. Uh, Miguel Oliveira ended up fifth, and Luca Marini ended up 10th. So Ryan took that one. And in the big win, the big winner, it was. Oh, hang on, let's warm up. Oopsie. It was Pecco Bagnaia. Of the predictions, Ryan went for Fabio Quartararo. Oops a daisy. I and Isabella both went for Miguel Oliveira. Um, if you follow the Patreon, you will see that Isabella actually put two different predictions for the race winners.
And they both withdrew.
Yeah, and then they both withdrew, probably because they didn't want to disappoint her that they couldn't win. So,
Yeah, they're so considerate.
so that's why it's changed. But me and Isabella both ended up going for Miguel Oliveira, and Ryan's prediction took out our prediction. The winner was Pecco Bagnaia, and by default, Ryan won that because he took Fabio, who was 10th. So that's our predictions done. I think like if we were running the points total, Ryan would win, but it's not about the results. It's about taking part. At least that's what I tell myself when I keep losing. So there we go. So on to the Moto3 first of all. Should we start with Ivan Ortola?
Yes, I think we should.
Second win on the trot.
Amazing.
Championship contender? Question mark.
Definitely. Like, he is on his way to Moto2.
Yeah, but he's big enough. Tell you that.
Exactly.
I mean, but like normally when you see a big guy who's you think, oh, you know, he needs to go to Moto2. He's struggling a bit, but he's got the fastest bike on the straights as well. Like, he's an absolute anomaly at the minute. Like whatever Angelus are doing, I don't know whether it's like women riders backhanders from Dorna or what. And he gets like a 500 or something, but it's like
Don't say that.
I'm joking. Of course, I'm joking. Like
Yeah.
whatever MTA are doing to that bike at the minute, it's working because Nepa's up there on the top speed charts all the time as well. They clearly have something set up that others do not. But of course, on the straights means nothing if you can't make it through the corners. And
And he certainly can
yeah,
as well, so.
Tola actually is at the moment. Like, I I hesitate to put him as a championship contender simply because but neither he nor the team have been in a championship contending position, even in Chev. Like, okay, Otola was second in Chev a couple of years ago behind Olgado, but he was
And that was
never.
his rookie year.
But he was never in the position to win it, so he never had the championship pressure, so to speak. Like he only ended up second at the end of the year. He came 2 second rather than fell 2 second, if that makes sense. So that's the only question mark I have. But
Okay, but to do that in his rookie year against that
yeah,
stacked of a field, like, it is talent, and I'm glad that he can show it now.
oh yeah, I'm not absolutely not criticizing him in any way. Like I just worry it's inexperience will count at some point when you're fighting the likes of Ayo, Aspar, you know, even the likes of just further down, like the Husqvarna squad, Leopard. Yeah, Tech 3 have got experience coming out the wazoo, you know? It's it's hard. It's really hard.
I mean, yeah, like, especially because he made those two mistakes on the first two rounds as well. Like,
Mm,
that was the pressure getting to him as well.
mm.
That
Like,
was going too fast than what he, like, knew, and then he just crashed both times, but, like, he had it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if we're already seeing pressure, like, affecting him, then maybe you're right, but honestly, I feel like he could win again next week.
Yeah,
Like, that's seriously what I'm seeing.
yeah. Honestly, the way he's been, you know, carrying himself, and like once he got that first win, it's the classic first win off your back. Oh look, five more. Like it's just, I'm honestly, I'm very impressed with his last two rounds. If he can keep even a podium in Le Mans, will confirm it and keep it trucking, because that's what he needs right now. He needs to not pull a Pecco, for want of a better word, and have one good result, two good results, and then deck it. That's my worry. Like, I mean, he could easily have decked it at Kota, you know, and then he didn't. Went on to win. Confidence shot through the roof. He's won again. Confidence will be even higher now. But Le Mans is a very tricky place. It's a very different prospect for a new team as well, like a relatively new team. Le Mans is still one that the secrets need to be unlocked over time. I think it's not Jerez. What do you reckon?
And even the fact that he was in Q1, I was
Yeah,
like, oh, was it an anomaly? And then fucking hell,
yeah,
second place.
yeah, yeah. That like that. I wasn't thinking, oh, problem because it's Moto 3. As long as you're in the league group, that can be down to 20th at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so I wasn't too concerned. Like, you might not have the one lap pace to qualify, but if you can stick with the train, which he proved he can do, proved he could do it at Kota, stick with the train because he had to, and and then he just comes through to qualify second anyway, makes his job so much easier, and goes on and takes the dub. Um, I'm I'm hesitating to put him as my Le Mans winner, but who knows? Might happen. We'll see.
I would need to check like Red Bull rookies stuff because you know
Yeah,
he might not
gotta
even
be it.
like it.
It gotta be it. Gotta be it. Um, yeah, Altola. Yeah, well, as I say, I just wrote championship contender question mark. Should we answer the question? Championship contender question mark.
Yes.
I think yes. So we go on to a guy who is should
Not
be a championship contender, and right now is not. I have written Onshu again failing. I should have put to live up to expectations because he's not failing,
I
but like,
mean, yeah.
come on, mate, what are you up to? Like,
It honestly just makes me super, super concerned that like he'll be one of those riders that literally peaks at when you are in IO, like, Antonelli, Toto, but like you're in IO for 1 year and then the rest of your career is just bouncing around. But it's insane because how much everyone spoke about him in his junior career. We thought that he was gonna be like Chan, yeah, went on his debut and like changed the world, but even at Jerez, that's his fucking territory as well as Austria, like that is his track. So to see him not even being himself, and I'm not sure if that's just from like past mistakes, but he wasn't even like doing any overtakes. I was just wondering what was going on.
yeah, I honestly, at first, I thought he had an issue. He was plummeting that quickly.
Same.
Like I
Genuinely.
thought, like, okay, even Onshu with pressure doesn't plummet like this. But no, no issue. Well, no documented issue anyway. It could be that they're just not telling anybody because it's like weak spot. But I honestly thought he had a tire problem or something at first because he just could not stick with the leaders. He was doing it brilliantly alone. He was doing the Sasaki move of qualifying alone, except he was able to do half a second out on the field. And at that point, you thought, well, it's a foregone conclusion. If he qualifies on pole, gets off the line, he's gone. Except he didn't. He ended up in ninth place. And he ended up 3.8 seconds off the win. He was in the second group containing Tatsuki Suzuki. Diogo Moreira was just a little bit off that by the end, but he was in the group until the
No,
final.
no, yeah, Onshu got onto the group right on the last lap.
Yeah, he bridged the gap.
He was
Moreira
last in the
didn't.
group.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so, it could have, if he had not been able to bridge the gap, it could have been even worse for him. He could have ended up behind Moreira, Fanati, and
But then
Scott
you're right.
Ocon.
Yeah, it was when he had like no bikes in front of him, he could go fast again and do the lap that he knows he can do. But like that's Jerez. Why was he not?
That's a
He
confusing
wasn't
one.
doing any hard braking. It was just odd.
A very confusing one for me. Absolutely very
Especially
confusing.
when we have no offense, but we have Yamanaka. That was his best ride to date, in my opinion. I've never seen him do overtakes like that.
Mm.
And like when I was like Yamanaka versus Onshu right now, is this even like why is Onshu not winning this battle?
Are we in a different reality? Yeah, honestly, that's what I was thinking. I was like, have I fell into a black hole where Yamanaka is now flying or something?
Yeah, like watching him do those overtakes on like Messia Fanati, I was like, fucking hell,
Yeah.
where's this confidence come from as well? I
Mm.
didn't know that he could ride like that, but obviously it ended
Yeah.
not good.
In actual tears, it ended. Uh,
Yeah, that was not a good camera shot.
I was cruel in the extreme for
Yeah.
him because he did not deserve that. For reference, if you hadn't seen it, it's like I discuss all these expecting people to have seen it, and then I better say if they haven't. But if you haven't seen it, Yamanaka's gear shifter broke, causing him to end up pulling off the track. and then ended up back in the pits in tears because I think he knew a podium was a realistic goal, especially
Yeah, and that
as
reminded me of Izan in America as well.
yeah. Well, what it reminded me of, do you
Literally.
remember a couple of years ago, Fabio Q, before he took his first win, he was still on the Patronus bike. He qualified on pole
Oh,
at
in
Jerez,
GP, yeah.
and his gear shifter fell off as well. That's what it reminded me of, like on for your first podium, and then that happens. I was gutted for him. But I think he knew it was on because we'll get to the next guy, which is his teammate, David Alonso, who ended up second place as a rookie.
Really
Wow.
good.
Wow. Didn't see that coming. I'll be honest. Like, I saw it coming maybe after Saturday, but I did not see it coming into the weekend. I thought he was not going to be quite there. I thought he would be thereabouts, like in the second group. But for him to be able to make that pace, continue with that pace, no less, and fight people who he's never fought before, that is a notable podium. Because not only was it a rookie podium, which is brilliant in itself, the first Colombian ever to stand on a MotoGP podium. Yoni Hernandez didn't manage that in any class. Santi, his brother, didn't manage that in any class. Like, wow. It's just, wherever you look, this kid is kind of breaking records.
A huge talent, yeah. I mean, I feel like nothing against him. It was kind of one of those rides where he just ended up at the front, but the
Yes.
fact that he could have made the move on the last corner if he really wanted to.
Mm.
Um, and there we go. Like, but I think I feel like he could win a race this season.
Yeah. Like, considering where his pace was in his wild card appearances, for him to now be so strong early season, and people are going to say, oh, well, it's because it's Jerez. Everybody's in the same boat at Jerez. Everybody's always
Exactly.
testing at Jerez. Jerez is the test circuit. Everyone has data. If you can succeed at Jerez, I think that sets you up more because everybody is better there. Like going into Le Mans now, we're not going to see such a pronounced gap, in my opinion, and maybe the cream of the crop, in inverted commas, will rise to the top again. But for him to do that,
I, mm.
yeah, I think Le Mans is going to be a problem for the rookies because it's such a tough place.
Yeah, that's what I was literally going to say. I was going to say the veterans are going to win again. Like, it
Yeah,
happens every year.
yeah, at Le Mans it does. It's just Le Mans thing. It's just
Yeah.
they don't want to French the riot, do they? So it is. Oh, we must let the old man win. So there's that. But like, when you consider old man is probably a 26-year-old Tatsuki Suzuki, it's like that's quite funny in itself. Um,
No, I think Messiah probably
yeah,
would
yeah,
win.
yeah, yeah. It's all set for a Masia winning there with the Suzuki podium there. Probably Fanati in third. That's where it's gonna be. Um, one guy who I didn't write down actually before we get into the last point that I did want to mention. Hooray for Ayumu Sasaki! Finished a race! Yay!
Wow.
Well done, Ayumu. Well done, and finished in fourth place. Probably could have podium, but for Masia being able to bridge the gaps at will. Masia was muscled out by Ortola, which led Alonso through. Masia then had to bridge the gap, and he just sort of looked behind, said to Sasaki, nah, no chance, just went. And Sasaki was just stood holding the bag, and you're like, oh, okay. But no, Sasaki, I was
Yeah,
fully expecting to crash.
but Sasaki can be proud of his performance, like to bridge that gap and then make up that many places, like
Mm,
and not crash.
yeah. But after the last two rounds, it's notable. Like,
And a
annoyingly
fourth is
notable.
fucking good.
Oh, it is. It's brilliant. And 0.4 off the win. But when you consider that, like, he was a 10th in front of Rueda, that's last corner experience paying off there. Knowing how to take that last corner without getting absolutely munozed, which we will get to in a sec. Uh, but yeah, fourth place. And fifth place for Rueda as well is also excellent.
That's really amazing, yeah.
Like, for those two.
Honestly, I thought he was going to end up on the podium as well. Like,
Yeah, so did I. I
it
thought
was
I got
it
the
was
pole
looking
wrong and he was going to take the win. Which I did. I wouldn't have minded, honestly, because Rueda is a talent and a half. Uh, but yeah, it's very good. I can't remember what I was going to say. It's just very,
Race?
yeah, very, no, very good for Sasaki to actually bring the bike home in a strong position. He needed that. After the last two races, he needed that big time. Um, as I mentioned just now, the final point is David Munoz. Um, first of all, he didn't race. He ended up having a really ugly crash at the final corner. Touched the white line, bike got unsettled, spat him off, landed on his left heel, I believe, which caused his left heel to break. Now, if you don't know what breaking a heel is like, it's a problem. Because your heel is like a honeycomb structure. And if you break it, it can take years to heal. Literal years. Nicky Hayden broke his in 2007. Didn't fully recover it. He was on the Ducati. Because obviously you use your heel every day. It's a real issue. So I'm concerned for him right now. Like he already misses Le Mans. They've said that. I expect more because that's a real problematic injury. Um, but the point I'm making is, would he have gone for that final corner move?
Yeah, I think he would have as well. I think he would have been on the podium.
Well, or on
And
the
that's
floor.
why it's a shame. Yeah, exactly, with other riders.
Yeah, with others, yeah. There's absolutely no way he wouldn't have looked at Ortola and thought, that's a Munoz-shaped gap right there. I'm going for it. Because Munoz, for his point there, would have probably been able to make the move because Ortola left the door open the final corner. I think he knew that Alonso would settle for second and not go for a completely crazy move.
Really? Because would he have even known that it was Alonso
Yes, he looked
behind him?
behind. He looked behind him just before turn 11, and Alonso was the second
Oh,
place.
for goodness sake.
Honestly, I believe he was fine with it and took the fastest line, not a defensive line, because he knew Alonso was not going to try and throw it away for his first podium. Genuinely. Like, of all the riders who'd want there, Masia would have gone for it. You know, he's had podiums
Yeah.
and wins. Sasaki absolutely would have gone for it. You know, the only other one who possibly wouldn't have dived it was Rueda. Holgado, maybe not because of the championship lead, but of the riders you'd want behind you at that final corner and not have to defend, Alonso was the one. So I do genuinely think if Munoz had been in that gap, Munoz could have won this race because Ortola did lead. But then again, would Ortola have defended if he'd seen the 44 behind instead? Is there any point defending if you see the 44 behind you? That's the concerning point. But I think so. The question is, would he have affected the race? I think yes, in a bad way.
I mean, it wouldn't have been a bad way. If there was no crashes, then yeah, it
Yeah,
wouldn't have been bad.
but he would have,
But
wouldn't he? He would have skittled someone. Like, come on, like, especially at that final corner, it just sucks you in. It says to you, look, yeah, it's fine, make the move, and then when you're in it, you're like, ah, psych, bitch. So, yeah, I think he would have. I think he would have gone bowling, unfortunately. So, I think the riders might have been breathing a sigh of relief that he wasn't racing. Honestly, so don't expect to see Munoz at Le Mans. Probably not the next couple of rounds after that either, depending on how his heel takes shape.
he's good at Mugello as well, so that's a shame.
It, I, I, I hope he tries if he is fit. If he is there. If he tries too early and then does more damage, then that's just dumb shit. But
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought happened to Suzuki when he crashed this weekend. Like his his ankle, yeah. Oh, he just bugged it up again. But he looks
well,
fine-ish.
yeah,
Well,
that was a weird incident. Like if you didn't see the practices, it's actually a really strange incident at turn 11. The wind changed, and in the space of about
oh yeah,
30
it was three
seconds,
Japanese.
yeah, in the space of about 30 seconds, down went Kaito Toba. Straight after him went Tatsuki Suzuki. Then they scooped all those up. About a minute after that, Ayumu Sasaki went down. And I was thinking, three Japanese down in about a minute and a half. Like, I was genuinely fearing for Furusato and Yamanaka. I thought, oh god, is this like, a
They're done.
Japanese black hole or something? But,
And
yeah,
then
it's
yeah,
just,
they red flagged it, which
yeah,
was just ridiculous as well.
yeah, like, the A fence went down, which they have to red flag.
No, but this was separate. This was when they were clearing the gravel. They red
Yeah,
flagged it because of the gravel.
yeah. The A fence went down in the background. That's why they actually red flagged it, not to do with the gravel. They took the opportunity to
What?
clean up the gravel, yes, but
I thought
Sasaki's
that was
no,
MotoGP.
no, Sasaki's bike punctured the A fence.
So what? 3 got punctured this weekend.
Yeah, they've done their jobs,
That's
in
not
my
good.
opinion.
Well, yeah, but
But that's what they're for, to be punctured and take the.
I know, I know, I know.
But like, Jerez is quite a tight circuit. Like you're gonna be reaching it quite a lot. Like I think 90% of the A budget is Jerez. So after that, I think
All right, it's fine then.
we're in plain sailing. I think don't want to put extra aside for it, so it's fine. The results were Otola won, David Alonso in second, Jaume Mathia in third, Sasaki in fourth, Rueda fifth, Elgato sixth and keeps the championship lead. Seventh is Artigas, eighth is Tatsuki Suzuki, ninth Dennis Onchu, 10th Diogo Moreira, 11th Romano Ferrari, 12th Scott Ogden for more points, but I expected maybe a tiny bit more from Scott because he was really quick here in pre-season tests. But nonetheless, still 4 more points on the board. Keep it trucking. I'm happy with that. Like, as a Scott Ogden fan, I'm happy with that. Matteo Bertel 13th, Pippo Farioli 14th for his first World Championship points ever. Like, well done, Filippo. And 15th, and absolutely heroic, was Stefano Neppa. Fresh off being Munoz at Kota, still quite injured to the point he can't even walk without crutches. And he got a point. He basically, he Ayagurid it. He fought through to get a heroic point. So, round of applause to Stefano Neppa for that. 16th was Tayo Furusato. 17th was Andrea Mino. 18th was Joel Kelso. Great to see Joel back. Still quite hurt. Actually ran different boots in the racing. He actually ran Alpine Stars boots despite a contract with Sport because his foot was so swollen he couldn't get into the Sport ones. He had to run Alpine Stars.
No
So
way.
yeah, so that's a nice little tidbit if you didn't know about it. Um, Obviously he had permission, but like he literally his feet are still that bad that he really shouldn't have been racing. Honestly,
I thought he just did it because
yeah,
I thought he just did it because he was like, yeah, I'm in the mood to wear Alpine Stars this
yeah,
weekend. Like, fuck
yeah.
my sponsor.
Bugger the Australian sponsor I have. Definitely not. Mario Agi 19th, David Almanza 20th. Good, bad, bodes well. I think.
uh,
No,
I think he could have got a point. Like, I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what happened really.
I don't know. I think I've seen a lot worse, wild cards and rookies than that. I
Yeah,
think
but
it's good
like,
building blocks for fine outwork.
but looking at Mario Agi's, I was watching his race laps and like they were really, really slow. So I was just thinking like, come on, he could have at least got in front of him.
Yeah, but also he was on a 3-year-old bike, 3 years at this point now, so that doesn't help proceedings either. Um,
Yes.
Weird little tidbit on that as well, actually. Listed as a Husqvarna, but it has an orange KTM frame. Really pissed me off. It's not right. It was a KTM, not a Husky. Deal with it. End of story. It was not a Husqvarna. Sayurifudin Advan was 21st, Anna Carrasco 22nd, Colin Vaya 23rd after a crash. 24th was Josh Watley, and Yamanaka came home 1 lap down after going back out with a new gear shifter. Probably shouldn't have been out there. Could have interfered with the championship contenders, but fortunately did not. And of
Well,
the
he's not a Rainist, so he
yeah
wouldn't do that.
yeah he's not Albert at Valencia, so that's all good. And of the non-finishers, both the 658 Squadra Corsa boys didn't finish. Paolo Simoncelli, I look forward to your column when you bring it out if you bother. I don't think there's much to say other than fucking hell, Ricardo Rossi, sort your shit out. Toby you can forgive, but Ricky Rossi, sort your shit out. And David Salvador also didn't finish after a monster high side, one of the bigger ones you'll see on a Moto3 bike. Glad he walked away from that. The best race lap was best race lap wasn't broken. Best race lap is actually Jaume Masia with a 146.0 in 2020, which surprised me.
That's fast.
And the all-time lap record, this blew my mind. The all-time lap record was a 1:44.988. Mino set
From
that.
who?
Mino
Oh,
on the sniper's bike, on the Honda set that. I could not believe it. And the fastest lap of the session was actually Yamanaka, which was a 1:46.016. So we were close to breaking the all-time lap record, but the best race lap, but we did not. So that was Moto 3. On to Moto 2 now. And should we start at the front with Mr. Sam Lowes?
yeah.
Um, I don't know what I can say other than fucking hell. Wow. Like, takes the lead. Pedro applies pressure. Absolutely does not phase the man. Clears off. Pedro looks a bit stupid in second. Like, oh, I just didn't have it today. How many times a year can we say Pedro Acosta doesn't have it? Like, wow. Like, honestly,
But he knew all weekend that Sam was quicker than him, so he didn't. Obviously, he didn't feel the need to push, and I'm glad he didn't, because
nah.
yeah, he's a mature head, like on a young man's body. But I mean, yeah, I don't know what. Like, I hope it's not an anomaly for those, because I will admit I was one of the doubters.
Same.
I
I
did
won't
it.
lie. I thought this current
Yeah,
format with these tyres combined with this chassis, I didn't think it was
it's not for him.
Lowe's style, but this again, this kind of counters my Moto 3 point in a way because it's Jerez. It is a place Sam knows how a bike should feel on a Moto 2 bike, especially. He's done hundreds of Moto 2 laps around that place. He found the feeling instantly there. He had his base setup worked. On he goes. But next is Le Mans, an experienced place. He could well just keep it trucking. Like, I just honestly, I've got words. Like, I did not see this coming before the weekend. Like, I knew he'd be strong at Jerez, but I thought Sam Lowe's being strong meant sixth place, like in this economy, not to clear off in the win and make everybody look a bit daft.
And I'm sure he made like literally no mistakes as well. Like
No,
he just had his head on and he just went for it.
metronome. Like, quite literally, he hit the same points at the same time every single time, no questions asked. You know, like, to run a flawless race when Pedro Acosta is pressuring you. Like, I've given Pedro a lot of slating. Some people say unnecessarily, some don't. But if there's one
Because they're
thing,
too scared to say it.
yeah. But it's like, if there's one thing Pedro can do and has done since Chev, really, is pressure someone. Is apply pressure, turn it up to 11 and force your mistake. We saw it last week with Arbolino. You know, it's only so long you're supposed to be able to hold out from Pedro Costa pressure. But Lowe's didn't even give him the chance to really pressure him because he just went away from him. Like, when Pedro thought halfway through, he thought, okay, now it's time to push. He caught up to about a second. Lowe saw his pit board and he had so much in hand he could just clear off again. Like,
That's what I thought. When it went down,
oh,
and then it would just go up again by like 5/10, and I was like, Jesus
at
Christ,
will.
how? Yeah,
Literally at will. It's just unbelievable. So I'm I don't want to dwell on it too much because it's not been the season of Sam Lowe's dreams so far. I still don't think he's a championship contender, and I don't think he will be. But we are now approaching the experienced head tracks. You know, the real classic tracks. If he's found a base setting that is that good around Jerez, he could do something. He could do something big. But
but was it Le Mans when Pedro was leading his first race in Moto2? What track was it? I feel like it was Le Mans, but I don't
I
remember.
wouldn't like to say for sure you're wrong, but I don't know if you're right either. So I wouldn't like to
And then
vouch
he
on it.
crashed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that
He was like,
sounds
it was when he was leading his first Moto2 race, and then he crashed.
it sounds familiar, and I think you are right that it's Le Mans, but I wouldn't like to put money on it, so I'll just go
Okay,
with it.
but anyway, yeah, let's just say, guys, don't shout at us if we're wrong. But if this is correct, then Yeah, maybe it'll be another Sam versus Pedro race, but
God, who would have said
yeah,
that coming out of Cota?
I don't. Not me.
Not me either. Um, like Pedro, for his part, do you think he's already thinking about the championship, or was
Oh,
this
he was thinking
just
about it last year.
yeah, like, or was
He was
this
thinking about
just
the 2023 last year. Like, yeah,
like
but 20 points is good.
oh, it is, and it's a brilliant championship ride, really. Like if we look back and he wins by a couple of points, we can like this would be a good example of he rode for those
Win it.
points.
Yeah.
You know that this has made a difference rather than been in it trying to go with lows when he couldn't. Nobody could have today. I don't care who you are. Nobody could have today. He thinking about the oh god, it's just I just don't know with Sam though. I really struggle to place him as a real contender after the like. Granted, he's been injured. That's not helped at all. But all the ingredients have plotted against him, and I don't think I can place him as a championship contender. I just can't. So yeah, old Sam Lowe's killed it. Pedro, I think for his part, yes, was thinking about the championship. 20 points is damn good on a day where you can't win it. Don't win it, just win it. So that's great. On to further down the field and to a DNF with Ayagura. First of all, what did you make of it?
It was just so joyous to watch him ride again, like actually battling the same people he was battling last year, like doing his classic, like drifting. I was just like, wow, I really have missed this. And
Hmm.
I was just like, yeah, hoping that he could bridge the way to third. Like at a certain point, I thought he could make it, but obviously the gap kind of opened up again. And then,
Yeah,
yeah, you can say what you think, and then we can discuss the incident.
yeah. Like for my part, I didn't see this coming with the Guru. I still thought he was too hurt. I know he loves Jerez, but I still thought he was going to be too hurt to pull this off. Through like I thought maybe he could feature early laps certainly because he's brilliant around Jerez. Took his first Moto2 win there last year. He knows his way around the place. But I absolutely did not expect him to be hanging in there to the point where there was an incident with Tony Arbolino. Totally blameless on Arbolino's part in my opinion. Uh, but I believe he could have gone on and beaten Arbolino had the incident not happened. For the incident, Arbolino came from a long way back at turn one. A long way back. He was, very, very far back. I can't stress to you enough how far back. But he made a clean move on Agura. An absolutely clean move on the brakes. I saw nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Upon acceleration then, because he come from so far back, Arbolino, he ran slightly wide. Agura tried to cut under him, hit his back wheel, down goes Agura. I do not agree whatsoever with people who say Arbolino should be punished for it because he did nothing wrong whatsoever. He made a dive bomb move that was clean. He didn't instigate the contact. On we go, in my opinion. I think Agura knew as well because he didn't shout in the gravel. He just sort of got up and went, "Oh fuck."
When does the guru ever shout in the gravel?
True, but it's like sometimes even a rider who's very calm will look at another rider and go, "What are you doing?" He didn't even do
Yeah, yeah.
that. He just walked off. I think he knew it was his error.
It was nobody's fault, but
No, it was. That's
obviously,
a true racing incident, in my opinion. That is a racing incident. When people say, racing incident," no, this was the racing incident of the weekend. Everything else was not a racing incident. It had one
but it
point or
is
another.
annoying that it happened though, because if he just fucking went on the inside or he also went wide, then
Mm,
because it was just so close, and I was just like, he really drove into the back of him.
yeah.
Like, he's honestly lucky he didn't take Arbolino off with him, but
Yes,
I don't know.
that was my
Yeah,
when I saw it and I saw him bonk him. I was like, oh shit. I thought Arbolino was
yeah.
going to go down with him, but no respect. So I think Agura sort of saw it coming when he saw it coming. If that makes sense. Like
What
he
does that mean?
like he saw it develop as it developed. So I think if I saw his
Yeah, and then
data,
it was too late.
yeah, like I imagine if we saw his data, there would be an abrupt off throttle just before he hit him, where he saw it developing. Obviously, we're not going to see that data, but it looked like Agura did try and get out of it, but unfortunately could not. Um, if he had gone even just a couple of millimeters tighter, he probably could have gone under Arbolino, and on we go, another battle.
Exactly.
But that's the
That
way
could
the
have been a
chips fell.
classic as well.
Yeah, it could have, because they were evenly matched. Like, what Aguru was brilliant first half, Arbolino catch him
I
second half.
agree.
But it is what it is. I don't think there's any need to punish Arbolino, just because there's a precedent been set, with which you'll get onto in MotoGP. And prepare for a rant. But yeah, and the final point I want to make is Alonso Lopez, another podium. Better when the pressure's off is Alonso, I feel. He
Yeah.
he's thrown himself out of championship contention early doors, and then he gets a podium. What's next for him? Get back up closer and then start throwing it away again, or can he finally sort his bulb out?
I think it will be just similar to last year, like wins, podiums, but obviously not enough to be. Yeah, he's already there. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. I'll go for that.
yeah,
I don't think there's anything we can say about Lopez that we haven't discussed. Like, I think he is one of the most mentally fragile riders in the World Championship, and as soon as any kind of pressure comes onto his shoulders, he will start stacking it again. In my opinion, why Yam want him, I don't know. Genuinely, I absolutely would not promote a man who is, you know, that fragile.
yeah. Because I'm not being funny, but obviously his Moto3 career wasn't sensational, but I feel like similar things did happen to him in Moto3 as well.
Do you
So,
remember the
like,
Catalonia incident with Garcia? His teammate at the time, uh, both end up going on the gravel. Lopez booted Garcia's bike in the gravel. It was in a practice session, and they both ended up having to start at the back of the grid. I think it was 2019, I want to say. Um, yeah, it's just been one of those things. Like, I felt for him when he got kicked out for Petito, for Adrian Fernandez, because he couldn't come up with 300 grand to stay in the Husky team, and that was harsh. But now there's real pressure coming back to him. It's gone away a bit, ebbed and flowed. As soon as he comes back, calling it, he'll crash again. Mentally fragile man, and I
do you
would.
really not think that he'll make it to MotoGP then?
Yamaha want him, maybe. Why Yamaha want him, I don't know.
You need a rider. They need at least one. Come on, no one's going to be on it. Want to be on it soon.
Yeah, that is the point, isn't it? It's like it's hard to get a rider worth anything when your bike is that bad. Look at Honda. It's yeah, I wouldn't promote him to MotoGP if it was down to me, but it ain't down to me, so the fuck do I know? So the Moto2 results: Lowe's won, Pedro Costa second, Lopez third, Arbolino fourth, Aaron Canet fifth, Jake Dixon sixth. Expected a little better of Jake, I won't lie, especially with him qualifying on the front row. Just went backwards off the start.
He didn't have the pace. He just.
Yeah, he pulled in Aprilia and just went backwards off the start. Seventh was Chandra, eighth was Albert Arenas, ninth was Philip Salach, 10th was Firmin Aldeguer, who ended up with a long lap after doing track limits, then decided to do track limits some more and got another warning, but still ended up 10th. Sergio Garcia, top rookie at 11th. Manu Gonzalez 12th. Barry Baltus 13th. Joe Roberts 14th. And Lucas Tulovic getting a point in 15th. That impressed me. Because behind him was Jeremy Alcoba and Bo Ben Snyder, the two riders who were fighting for the podium last weekend. Like, that's impressive shit what he did. Very impressive. As I said, Alcoba 16th, Bo 17th, Dennis Foggia 18th, Borja Gomez 19th, Captain Andalucia Marcos Ramirez was 20th at home. Lovely home helmet design, same as last year's. So, if you saw last year's, you don't need to look at it, but it's still beautiful. 21st was Darren Vinder's replacement, Senarijas, on his first Husqvarna appearance, which is quite funny to say because Chev haven't started yet. 22nd was Izan Guevara. 23rd was Zonta, who absolutely plummeted after about the first 6 laps with arm pump. 24th was Rory Skinner. 25th was Lorenzo Dalla Porta, and 26th was Shoichiro Minamoto. Minamoto. Of the riders who didn't finish were Ayagura, SDK, Sean De Kelly, and Celestino Vietti, who had an absolutely scary crash. I'm glad he wasn't hurt more than he was, because he went into that air fence at pace. Very
What
terrifying.
injuries did he sustain?
None.
Good
I
for him.
know, I know. Like, when I saw the bike coming after him, I thought, oh, fuck. But he just got up and walked away. He was fine. I was relieved, very relieved. So, pretty cool on the bottom. It's a new thing. I didn't notice until just now. Is why I said about the fastest laps. But session fastest lap was Lowe's with a 1:41.366. The best race lap ever was Sam Lowe's in 2021 with the 1:41.313. So he was literally on race lap record pace. The all-time lap record was actually set in qualifying, or P3, whichever one it was, by Aaron Canet, which was a 1:40.640. And Lowe's pole was a 1:40.750. So there we go. And on to the MotoGP sprint race. I've written down there, KTM's good. KTM's very good.
Very good.
Very good. One point I do want to make, and you can verify it because you've got access to the DMs as well. I actually said to one of our followers before the weekends, well, it was Friday evening, maybe Friday afternoon. I said, calling it, Danny Pedrosa will finish 6th in the sprint and 7th in the race. And he did. I was like, shit, I should have. Honestly, I'll send it to you. And I was like, shit, I should have put money on it. I was like, I can't believe I managed to predict that correctly. Though.
I think I remember you saying, saying something about 6th.
Yeah, and I said he'll come 7th in the main, and he did that as well.
Oh my god.
I know. Brilliant, man. But yeah, KTM's good. Brad Binder won it. Jack Miller was 3rd in the sprint. 2 medals from Matty Coffin. I'm consider that a job well done for the Orange Boys.
They've really proven their progress this weekend, I think. Being there with their test rider, I don't know if, everyone just being so obsessed with Danny was, giving them a boost or what, because every single, they were just flying, and, I feel like they could easily win the, teams championship. And...
Probably constructors as well, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I said it,
because
and I
both
will say
of them
it.
are quick as well.
Yeah, I said it at the start, and I will continue to say it. They were sandbagging the fuck out of that Portimao test. They knew what they had from the off, and they decided not to show it. And everybody's like, oh, KTM suck.
Ducati another year,
Yeah, another Ducati year. And look what's happened now. And it's only going to get better because the parts Danny brought to Jerez worked. He brought a new fairing, a new nice little aerial on the back of the bike. It's big enough to strap in a TV so you can watch the football when you're following him. And new wings as well. Brad Binder tested it yesterday. Ended up going 5 kilometers an hour faster down the straight than he did on his current bike.
That's mental. That's scary, actually. So they're going to implement it straight away?
I assume yes. One brilliant thing, they gave it to Augusto as well, who was also faster down the straights on it. I don't know if Miller tested it. I assume he did, but honestly, I haven't got the thing of whether he did or didn't. But I can't see the old fairing sticking around because the new fairing is just so much better in every area. Like the work Danny is doing for KTM. Oh, chef's kiss. What a boy. Like, I love Danny. He left too early. Maintained that. And
honestly, I feel like this weekend he must have thought I could be here right now.
Yeah. I wonder if he was sat there thinking it was one or two things. He was either thinking, has MotoGP gotten worse since I've been here?
Yeah, literally.
Or, Christ, I'm tired. It's one of the two things that he was thinking. And I probably think it's the second one because he obviously did laps on the Monday as well. Like, he was probably knackered, the poor bastard. I know he's not a big boy. He's 37 years old now. He probably needs his bed for a week now.
On the commentary on BT Sport, they said that he was 48 kg. I'm sorry, I don't believe that.
Yeah, like that's dry weight though. That's without leathers, helmet, this, that, and the other. But yeah.
Yeah, but like that as a man, 50 kg minimum. A 48 kg is like a teenager, no, like a 12-year-old.
Well, he's
Like
only 5'6", mind. You know, he's
exactly.
not a big
It should
boy,
be
is
50.
Danny. Come on now. Stop body shaming Danny Pedrosa.
I'm just saying that looking at him, he doesn't look 48, but I don't know. Weight looks different on people's frames, so
Yeah.
whatever. But still, that's surprising.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why he's actually such a good test rider, because he's so sensitive to change because of his size. He knows exactly what's going to move and what doesn't. Like if you've got someone like Petrucci who can just, if there's a fork problem, he can just sort of pick the bike up and throw it into the corner kind of thing. He's so sensitive to changes that I think it does make a hell of a difference. He was born to be a test rider. He's like Alex Marquez. He was born to be a test rider, I'm telling you. So that's going to be...
Sounds like an insult.
No, absolutely not. Because, well, put it this way. Of the Marquez brothers, if I wanted to develop a bike, I know who I'd pick, and it wouldn't be Mark. So, I think people sleep on Alex as his development skills as well. He knows what he wants, he goes for it. He told Honda what he wanted for 2 fucking years, and they did precisely bugger all about it, but he knew exactly what he wanted, they couldn't give it to him, and Ducati have already commented on how good his development is. I think he's born to be a test rider. If he can win a race in the meantime, more than happy with that. Going back to the sprint though, 2 incidents that I want to discuss, both at the very start of the first sprint, which was restarted. Frankie Morbidelli's penalty for causing the incident. Fair or not?
No.
Agreed. Dumb as shit. The stewards
It's
this weekend.
turn 1!
Yeah, the stewards this weekend. Fucking melons. Absolutely melons. I put an opinion piece up that has got Facebook slightly heated, shall we say. But I say there should be reviews after the race that carry into the next race, and we should also have an independent panel containing 1 Dorna member, 1 rider of the rider's choosing, and 1 IRTA member. I think Alicia Spargo would be perfect for this. Absolutely perfect. Everybody's like, oh no, Alicia's crying about everything. That's exactly why he's perfect for it. He knows where the line is because he's on that track. If he's on about going over the line, you've crossed the line. It's that simple. So I think Alicia should be perfect for it. Like, all the penalties this weekend, dumb as shit. Frankie's Morbidelli's was one of the ones that really should not have been implemented, in my opinion.
I just don't know, because I was thinking we haven't really had that many turn 1 crashes in the last 2 or 3 years compared to kind of previous years. But then now when it does happen, why are we penalizing it? It's turn 1. How many times?
Yeah, so it's just, I just didn't get it. In that incident, Marco Bezzecchi seemed to have been knocked out. He was laying prone in the gravel. He was quite floppy. In my opinion, should not have been allowed to take the restart. If concussion protocols are anything to go by, should not allowed to have been taking the restart. Was not even checked for concussion, which was the absolutely baffling part, in my opinion.
He just sat back in the chair?
Yeah, and they didn't come and check him whatsoever. Confirmed he wasn't checked. What are we fucking doing here if you're not even going to check a rider who seemed knocked out in the gravel for concussion?
So just to move to Sunday, did anybody check Fabio Quartararo?
Nope. Which I'll get to in a bit, but nope. It's like,
Okay.
what the fuck are we doing here?
That's ridiculous.
Honestly, I know it's a dangerous game. But
That's not professional. If we're at the highest level of motorsport in the entire world, then why... It just makes us look like fools.
Yeah, 100%. For me, because it's the dangerous sport, we absolutely should be taking more precautions, not less. And if you're
True.
not going to check two riders who seem knocked out in the gravel, actually knocked out cold in the gravel for concussion, then we might as well just fucking pack up and go home. It's that simple. Dumb as shit. So, from my opinion, Bez should absolutely have not been allowed to take the restart, provided he was knocked out. If he wasn't, and someone had actually taken the fucking time to confirm it and say, okay, yes, so he has not suffered a concussion, he has not been knocked out, fine. But the fact they didn't even check him, if he had, and then he'd landed on his head and, something big had happened, well then,
Oh yeah, taking out another rider, which is what I thought was going to happen because yeah, like he was the last one to come back into the pits, I think, because the other kind of got there quicker, and then because then he just went back out again with like the shortest time in between, and I was like, is this actually real life right now? Like,
yeah, it should not have happened.
I was thinking that he was just going to crash again from his injuries.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say, what happened to the rule where you have to bring your bike back?
You don't have to bring your bike back. You just have to be in parc fermé in 5 minutes, provided your bike
So,
is able to make it without shortcuts. If your bike is in the gravel, turned off, you are allowed to come back because of the two bike rule.
okay.
If this had been Moto 3 or Moto 2, neither of them would have been allowed to restart because they've only got one bike.
Because, I was just thinking about World Supersport, like Channel and Chew. I think maybe he didn't make it back or something one time with his bike, and like they were outraged. And then I was thinking, hold on, why is he allowed? But yeah, if they have two bikes, then it would be silly for them to say like, yeah, your bike, you can't come back because you didn't bring the bike. Well, there's another one sitting right there, so
Yeah,
I think it is fair.
If the bike works, you have to bring it back with no shortcuts. But of course,
Okay.
they didn't work, so he got away with it. Remember Portugal 2021?
Which class? MotoGP?
Moto 2, when like 15 riders crashed in when it turned
No,
red.
that was 2022.
22 then. But do you
Yeah,
remember it when
that was exactly, yeah.
they only had one bike and so
Us.
many couldn't take the restart because they didn't get back in time because they only had one bike. Like Zonta had a
And
bike that was
then
smashed in half. Like there was absolutely no way. But yeah, Bez was allowed to restart because of that. I didn't like it, but yeah, that was it. Sprint
when
results.
was there? Yeah,
No,
you
go on,
go.
hit it.
Yeah, but when was there that race that like someone brought their bike back through the back and then they were like, no, you can't because you didn't bring it back from the front way.
I can't. I know exactly what you mean, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know even what
that's why
class it
this.
was, but I guess it must have been a Moto2 or
That
something.
was actually why the shortcut rule was implemented, was because of that. That's how I know exactly what you mean. I just can't remember who or where it was.
Oh, okay. I don't even know if I'm thinking about maybe World Superbike or something, but
No,
yeah.
it was in the MotoGP paddock, and it's why the rule came in. So yeah, you're right, but I can't remember specifically what you mean. But I remember.
You know
the
what?
rule
I feel
came
like it was Augusto Fernandez.
in. I wouldn't like to bet, honestly. I mean, you could be right, you could be wrong. I don't know. So
I don't know.
sprint results. Big Balls Brad Binder came first. Pecco Bagnaia second. Jack Miller third. Jorge Martin fourth. Miguel Oliveira in one of his few rides where he wasn't absolutely murdered was fifth. Danny P was sixth. Maverick Vinales was seventh. Johan Zarco with eighth. And Bez came home in ninth for the final point. Luca Marini 10th. DG 11th. Fabio Q 12th. Rins 13th. Ralph Fernandez 14th. Stefan Bradl 15th. Frankie 16th. Augusto 17th. Lecuona 18th. And Jonas Folger 19th. I gotta say, I sort of glossed over Lecuona when I was thinking about today. I'm impressed.
Well, I did actually want to. Oh, really? I feel the opposite.
Nah, I'm impressed. That Honda is a fucking pig. So to come in and not come last on it, having not ridden MotoGP in years.
No, but that's what I was going to say. Like, I was honestly expecting bigger things, just even the speed. But then in the races, he was like, he was on it. And that just shows, like,
Race,
you know,
he's race ready.
he can race it. Yeah, he's ready. But it was annoying because I did think he was going to be maybe
Nah, honestly.
around Augusto's speed. But I guess if the
Nah.
Honda's really.
He aside from the fact Augusto is actually exceeding expectations for me,
Yeah.
I expect him to be last, a bit off the regular races, probably around Folger pace. So to beat Folger, I consider that a victory on his point. especially on the Honda. If he was on the KTM, I fully expect him to have probably matched or beaten for Augusto, but not on the Honda. Like imagine, you're on your World Superbike, which itself is a bit of a pig, and you hop on a different pig.
True, it's only been a week as well,
Yeah,
so
like
it's that makes it a bit more difficult.
of the non-classified riders were Juan Mir, Alicia Spagro, Taka Nakagami, and Alex Marquez. Um, Juan Mir having an absolute fucking nightmare, and I'm calling it now. He will not finish the season. Straight up. Just remember that.
But where's he gonna go? But where's he gonna go?
His fucking sofa. That's where he's gonna go.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
he's made his money. He's married now. Honestly,
Oh my god.
he's not gonna want to crash 4 times a weekend. I'm sorry. Like, there's only so much a man can take. He is not gonna finish the season. I'm calling it now. On to the main race anyway. Should we start with the one of two controversial points? I've written crash that took out Miguel, opinions on the move, but also we'll go for the other move as well. So first of all, Fabio Q's move on Miguel. Opinion? Question mark?
Um, I just this is my personal opinion. I feel like he could have let off a bit and then not like he was. I don't know if it's because he's young, but like I feel like he's just trying to prove a point. Like, oh, f you, Bezecchi. Like, I'm still gonna go for this anyway. I feel like maybe a more mature rider would have let off a bit and just kind of. You could see two bikes coming into one. He was the one coming from further back. Like he could have just not. But he just
Yeah.
yeah, and he knew that there was a bike on his outside as well, and that's why I feel like why did you not just like what's the right word? It's not slow down. It's just like
Yeah, just
let off the speed.
yeah,
Just yeah.
just back off a bit. Yeah, because
Um.
I'm with you. I agree. However, one thing that changed my mind
Oh yeah.
was the onboard from Fabio, because my initial thought was exactly yours. I even put it on the story saying, Fabio deserved that penalty. I have since changed my mind, having seen the onboards. I would not have penalised Fabio simply because on the onboard, there 100% was a gap. And then Bez moved offline, which it didn't look like at first. Absolutely did not look like Bez moved. I thought Bez was the innocent party in all this.
No, no. I don't think Fabio deserved the penalty, and either did Bezecchi. Like, but Bezecchi did go offline, and he caused obviously the chain
Yeah,
reaction. But why does Miguel always have to be?
yeah. But that again was where I was going with it. Was
Mm.
nonetheless, Fabio should not have moved as he did. He knew Miguel was on the outside. I don't give a shit what anybody says. A rider knows exactly where another rider is on track. You've got peripheral vision, whether you like it
And
or
on the
not.
onboard, you can see Miguel's right there as well.
Yes, but even if he hadn't seen it, he'd have known. He'd have heard
Yeah.
him. He'd have felt him. He would have known. I don't know whether it was a panic thing to avoid Bez, but he should absolutely have not moved the way he did. That was Moto 3 rookie level shit. I can see why he did it, and he had absolutely nowhere to go, but the way he did it was what I did not like. I wouldn't have penalised him because he had nowhere to go. It was hit Miguel or hit Bez. He was out of options. That simple. I think he made the right call in trying to avoid Bez in the hopes that Miguel was going to avoid him.
Yeah, like Miguel would have stood it up, and
Yeah.
then they both could have just spread out. But
But
Miguel
Miguel's
was
not. Yeah.
completely unaware.
But not only that, Miguel's not going to be able to avoid someone who has picked the bike up about 20 degrees in the space of half a second. It's just not possible. It's humanly is not possible. If he had just sort of braked and tried to run it out wide between the gap, which granted didn't exist, but potentially could have as the bikes went round if he had hit the brakes. But of course, then there's the whole different point of being hit from behind by the pack, which is the worry. So I wouldn't have penalised him.
No, I wouldn't have.
It we'll get onto it at the end, but it did contribute to an absolute fucking nightmare weekend for Yama in the long run. And the second move that was super controversial was Pecco Bagnaia on Jack Miller. If you're penalising that, we might as well just pack the fuck up, go home, sit in our pants and watch F1. It's that simple. Absolute stupidity to penalise that. What do you reckon?
It's just like the backwards logic of everything that Dorna know that we want. So it's like no one's communicating in the middle. Like we want close racing. We want, stuff that's slightly like, oh, that was the like, which it was. Everyone saw it. But then why are the stewards then just going against that and then making him drop the position, which is obviously going to create a more spread out race again, which is what Dorna know everybody's complaining about. So there's a little bit of like a problem of communication between all the parties, like, but then again, they're just not using their brain.
Dumb as shit. Dumb as shit. I honestly believe at this point, right, and I'm not even joking when I say this, I would put this on record in a fucking court of law. I reckon I could go and grab a random person off the street who knows fuck all about motorsport, and they would make better decisions than Freddie Spencer at this point. Freddie Spencer needs sacking. It is that simple. The game's moved on from when he raced. He's so scared of contact for some reason, which is wild when you consider he raced in 500s when, when men were men. When you could smoke and drink and punch somebody before you raced. Like, he come from that era and he's so terrified of any bikes making contact. I just don't get it. I absolutely... He's gone... He's basically a perfect example of Dorna management. Because Carmelo's the same. He's a dinosaur from a different era and he needs replacing with someone who is up to date. That fucking simple. Come at me if you want. I don't give a shit. Because he needs sacking. I mean, Jesus Christ. I could do a better job. I run quite hot. And I could do a better job. Like, I don't get it.
I just really hope that they somehow can improve in the next couple races, because at the moment, I'm sorry to say, but it's gonna become unwatchable.
I wouldn't say
Because,
unwatchable per se.
okay, fine, but like it does feel like a bit biased as well. I don't know
Well, that's why
how
I
you feel
think the
about that.
independent panel containing one rider of a rider's choosing, one member of IRTA, who actually are the Independent Riders and Teams Association, work
Yeah,
actively for the squads, and then Dorna. That way you have everybody covered. And if a decision is come to and you're still penalised, you know it's gone through the channels of every point of view and you deserve it. Even if you don't agree with it, it's gone through every channel, every single point of view. So it's like, at what point do you just stop and say, do you know what? These fuckers ain't working. Bin them off. Go again. F1 were not
I'm
scared to do it with
saying
Michael
whenever you...
Massey.
Yeah.
We need to do the same. But I'm sorry, but why? Do you know who I would put in this right now? Based on what I've seen of his job? Loris Capirossi. Perfect choice. Still raced in the modern era. Himself got away with some pretty dodgy shit on track. So I imagine he will let him race. He's already doing the safety commissioner job. Why not let him be head
He does
steward?
that really thoroughly as well, yeah.
Why not let him be head steward? Like, I honestly, I can't, because I get fucking apoplectic about it. I absolutely boils my piss. Like, if you're penalising that, but then you're not penalising Jack Miller for the same move on Jorge Martin, what are we fucking doing? Like, it's just baffling. It overshadowed what was quite a good race, in my opinion. Because
The first 5 laps were good and the last 5 laps were good.
yeah, Pecco's never had to work harder for a win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw some people saying that was his best race. I'm not sure, but
I agree, because he actually had to really pull his finger out of his arse and go after Brad Binder. When you see Pecco win, normally he's cleared off at the front.
yeah.
But so for him to be able to come from behind and to do Brad Binder over, of all people, Like, that's not an easy task in itself. Try outbreaking Brad Binder, see how far you get. Like, it's just, I wouldn't want to do it. He disposed of Miller twice. Disposed of Binder. Binder probably would have bit back, but again, we go back to the stewarding decisions. Binder said he was not going to make a final corner move because he was scared of being punished if it was to go
Wow.
wrong. Yeah, like
So I'm
terrible.
saying it's gonna get into their brains,
Yeah,
like, and they're gonna think about it, which is, I guess, the point of stewards, whatever. But they're not thinking about the right things because the stewards are just implementing the wrong things,
no, it's
and then
bullshit.
we're just not moving in the right direction.
Yeah,
Obviously, we all want it to be safer, but I don't think that Pecco move was ever gonna create anything. I don't really.
yeah. Miller, for his part, was not happy at the time. Quite rightly so. It was a tough move, and you're like, oh, well, what are you doing? Pecco offered his
Yeah,
apologies, said,
that's a natural reaction. Yeah.
sorry, and then everybody got on with it again. I'm pretty sure, right, if he hadn't been penalised, aside from him saying, oh, how did you feel about that Pecco movie? He would have been like, bit tough, but okay. And that would have been the end of
Mhm.
it. But instead, Pecco was made to drop a position. Um, Binder didn't even know about it. Did you see the cool down room?
Really? No, I
They were
didn't.
chatting in the cool down room, and Binder went, and then where Pecco said to Miller, he went, I had to slow down for you because of that move. And Binder went, that explains it because it was 0.8, 0.5 in my pit board. Then all of a sudden, it was two
Yeah.
seconds. He thought he'd made a
The way
mistake or
he moved
something.
was really good there as well,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Like, I
yeah.
was just, yeah.
Slotted right in. Honestly, I thought he was going to hit him because he slotted in so tight. I was like,
Oh man.
shit. That was my fear because he came so close behind Miller to get the absolute maximum out of the position. I thought, fucking hell, he's going to bump into him now. But he didn't, like, luckily. Because can you imagine the controversy that would have caused based on the move?
Exactly.
Um, KTMs, for their part, how fucking good have they been overall this season? Can it continue? Just a simple yes or no. Can it continue?
Yes.
Agreed.
This was their best weekend so far, and it can continue.
And they've brought new parts.
Because, exactly, they got more stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just the raw speed, the qualifying laps that they can do now.
Their
Always in.
starts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you seen the
Everything.
picture of that KTM have uploaded themselves? It's of Brad Binder off the start. His front wheel is actually above the bottom of the fairing. I look at it and it breaks my brain because it looks like when he touches down, the fairing's going to scrape on the floor.
Mm.
Obviously, it doesn't, and the KTM's are
No, because it's flat,
yeah,
yeah.
the KTM's are absolute rocket ships off the start. They've nailed it. Like what KTM are doing with their technology is just absolutely fucking outrageous. Like 3D printing parts, like amazing, absolutely amazing. So yeah, I think it can continue. I think I'm gonna whisper it in hushed tones. I think the KTM is better than Ducati right now. I think KTM is a better all round bike than a Ducati if you can ride it. Once you learn how to ride it, because it's still, I think Ducati is an easy bike to get on and go fast.
Mm.
But I think if you can ride the KTM, you can ride the KTM. It has more potential than the Ducati. Like, if you've got a guy who can ride both, he'll be faster on the KTM, in my opinion. So that's a turnaround. Considering where the bikes were even at the start of last year to now, like
Yeah. Do you think maybe next year, like Brad could put a run together for the championship
this year,
this year?
this year,
Wow.
this year, genuine. Now we're in Europe this year. I would not be surprised, genuinely, I would not be surprised to see KTM leading by the time we get the summer break in at least
I
one
think he's
championship.
third right now.
Fourth.
So yeah, why not?
Fourth. He would have been third. But
Oh, if he
but
didn't get overtaken at
yeah,
the
but
end. Oh.
Pecco did him, so yeah, he's still fourth though. Um, on the opposite end of the
Wait, who's
spectrum.
third? Vinales or Rins? Sorry.
Hold on, I'll find out now. I can't actually remember. Riders Championship after race. Oh no, he is third. Sorry, Jack Miller is fourth.
Yes, I'm right.
Yeah, he would have been
Wow,
second.
two.
That's right. He would have been second
Oh,
if he hadn't
okay.
been
He
overtaken.
would have overtaken Bezecchi.
Yeah, and if he had actually beaten Pecco, he would have been he would have been within a race of Pecco, like a sprint race of Pecco. So that would have been
Mm.
super interesting going into the next sprint. But yeah, he's third, Miller's fourth, but he could have been second, which is what I was thinking.
Wow.
So yeah, I think a championship run is not out of the question right now, genuine, especially with the level of bike at the minute for the Japanese manufacturers. So it leads me on to a Japanese manufacturer struggling. Um, a Yamaha fucked? I'm gonna say yes.
Um, I think yeah, it's the end of the era that we know. Like, it's just so sad. Like, thinking about 2019, like Fabio, I think that was like a year-old bike, right?
Yeah,
And it's just
the last good Yam in my opinion.
now, yeah, and it's just like this is the end, surely. I don't know. All the team members are just so frustrated, and they're all just looking at each other like, how? I think they're just losing kind of motivation as well because especially with the penalties, it's just like they can't do anything.
Yeah, can't qualify, can't go fast, can only go fast in the test. Maybe it wasn't Vinales. You know what I
Wow,
mean? Quite simply, maybe it wasn't Vinales.
that's a statement.
Because everybody was like, "Oh, Maverick's the testing champion,"
Yeah.
and then
Well, which is Yamaha.
Fabio's gone and done the same and got really quick in the test at Jerez. Yes, on Monday. Like, it's a good bike alone, which is the whole point of testing speed. Maybe it was a Maverick after all, you know. Maverick, for his part, was super unlucky as well. I haven't written it down, but while I mention it, threw a chain on the final lap out of, I believe, 8th place. So that sucked for him. Very rare you see a MotoGP bike throw a chain. So I was quite concerned when I saw the onboard and he was revving the tits off it again. I thought, oh no, what's he doing? But it was because he went for the throttle and there was no drive, so he went to the moon. So it's all good. He's not lost his head again. Don't worry. Um, Jan though, fucked. I've got nothing else to say. Fucked.
They just need to change the way they operate on a weekend because obviously, in this occasion of Jerez, they ruined it for both their riders in P1.
Fabio, for his part, I think, is not the answer. He's not the answer for a team who's struggling and need development. He's a Marc Marquez. He needs to get on a developed bike and go win on it. I would, at this point, and you're gonna think I'm not saying it, I would keep Morbidelli over Fabio right now. Not even joking, because
Not
Morbidelli.
one person is going to agree with
No,
you.
I don't care, because what
Yeah.
Fabio needs is to get out of Yam, because he cannot develop the bike to his liking. Yeah, Yamaha cannot give him the tools to aid his development. Morbidelli is a much better developer. Much better. Like look at the exhaust they tried in the first 3 practices on Friday. Frankie could feel a difference with it. Fabio could not. Fabio has said the bike has not changed in 4 years. I think it has, and he just cannot tell that it's changed in 4 years, genuinely. He asked him for the last 2 years, give me more power. They've given him more power. And look what it's got him. A worse bike. So, honestly, at this point, I would keep Morbidelli over Fabio. Fabio needs to go somewhere like a Ducati or a KTM where the bike is already developed and is got other riders leading the development that he can get on and win on straight away. If he's got any sense, he would be looking elsewhere, in my opinion. Anywhere but Honda. Like, can you imagine Quartararo
Well,
on an Aprilia?
no.
I could. I could see him on. Like, I could happily see him go back to RNF. You know what I mean? Razlan would love to have him
Joking?
back.
No.
Like, it wouldn't
No.
happen, but like, I don't think it would. I think he would do better on a satellite Aprilia or a satellite Ducati than he would on the factory Yam. Genuinely.
Well, yeah, but I just think his attitude is all wrong at the moment. Like, yeah, he's not in the development. He doesn't have the passion for like, let's really make this motorcycle better. It's just like he's thinking about
He's thinking about
winning
what he
or
doesn't have.
podiums. Yeah, exactly, which is just wrong because he needs to just think like, okay, so the bike hasn't changed in 4 years, so therefore we need to develop it.
Yeah.
And exactly,
They've
as you
brought
said,
parts,
just
you know what I mean? Like, it's not like Yamaha, for their part, have not
yeah, exactly.
have left the
They
bike alone.
haven't done anything, but I mean, I remember seeing like RNF saying that when they would ask Yamaha for things, they would never get it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it
sounds
doesn't
like
surprise me.
they just do like one thing a year and they're like, we gave you what you want, and then
Yeah, but adding more power just showed up other deficiencies. What Fabio thought he wanted was more power. What he actually wanted was more drive. Two very different things. I don't believe he is the answer for Yamaha's problems. I think he's actually doing like Honda did with Marc Marquez. I think he's actually doing him more harm than good. And
you think that's what's going on right now with Marc Marquez and Honda?
yeah, I think Marc is suffering. Honda are suffering because they have indulged Marc Marquez and put all their eggs in the Marc basket. The difference is Marc was still able to win on their bike. Fabio was not. Fabio now cannot win on the bike that he has all the eggs in the basket on. That's the big difference. That I cannot for the life of me get my head around the fact that Yamaha have watched Honda make that error, and then
Done
they
it.
thought, "Oh, that looks like a good idea. Let's do that."
Let's do
You know,
it.
seeing out what a piece of shite the Honda is right now. Like, there's no other way to put it. The Honda is the worst bike on the grid, but the Yamaha far behind. Not at this point. It has no drive grip,
And then
no
it's
top
like,
speed.
well, when yeah, and then obviously these rumors about like VR46 Yamaha satellite, it'd be stupid to do that.
Yeah,
They need to just do what Aprilia did and have a couple years of just turning it from a shit bike to something great and then get the satellite. And that's, it is like a 5-year process.
that's where they are. They are Aprilia 2019 right now. That's where they are. It's that simple. They've got a base that they can work with and is proven to work with, but they've got to develop it and develop it correctly, because throwing power at a bike just doesn't work. It's never worked in the entire history of two wheels. Why the fuck was it going to work now?
I don't know. Did they not seriously learn any lessons from like Ducati? All of their competitors, like, yeah,
Yeah,
stupid.
they,
But
they they're suffering for
who
it.
do you think could, except for Morbidelli, who else do you think could be one that would be like their Aleix Spargo?
Do you know what I would do right now if I was Jan?
What's
I would pour all my money in getting Alex Rins on that bike. Put Alex Rins and Franco Morbidelli on that bike.
I can see Alex on it, to be fair.
Put Alex on it. Take him away from Honda as well. Double whammy. Two level riders who can feel changes with the bike, have a clear direction that they want to take the bike, and let them lead the development. Put Fabio, like, say to Fabio, go. You need to leave. Like, make his decision for him almost. You need to leave because you're not the
They won't
answer.
do that.
No, they won't. But like, that's what they need to do. Like, he is not the answer. At this point in time for Yam, he is not the answer. He absolutely was a couple of years ago when the bike was still good enough to compete. Now, it's not. And because Yamaha have not let him develop the bike, he has no development skills. So you can't really blame him for it. Like, you learn by doing. And if you've not been allowed to do, you're not going to learn. It's that
But
simple.
that's just the Japanese way.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it is.
he's not going to reinvent the rules of MotoGP.
Well, that's why
But
they need to take lessons from the Europeans and why the Europeans are ahead, in my opinion.
Europe.
Okay, well, before I get cancelled by Yam, I think we'll end this. And
Oh my god, yeah, Ryan's gonna hate you.
oh, Ryan's gonna listen to this, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, you fucking prick."
And if he was here, he'd be
Oh, he would be ripping me right now.
be jumping.
Yeah, literally, I can imagine him just like his face right now. Yeah, obviously sad not to have Ryan, but he can abuse me next week when he's back on, so it's all good. But yeah, I think we'll end it there. Next week will be the Le Mans preview and Le Mans predictions and any news that may
Maybe we
arise.
can talk about World Superbike.
Do I really want to talk about an inferior category? MotoGP is better than
Fine, then
World
we can talk about
Superbikes.
Junior GP.
Yeah, that's far better for me. That's where I would go. Like if it was up to me, it'd be a Junior GP podcast,
It's fine. We can do it. We can do
but
it.
we can't do that. So yeah, it'll be Chev Le Mans and probably a bit of World Superbike, but I won't enjoy it all that much. I think World Superbike is a bit. It's what MotoGP was last year almost. It's very processional right now. So yeah, not a fan. Alvaro actually has a press conference and an exceptional press conference on Thursday at 2 p.m. UK time, where I believe it will be to announce retirement.
I
So
don't believe you.
okay, don't believe me. We revisit this because I'm going to drop this on YouTube on Thursday, so we'll revisit it. It's fine. It'll have
Okay,
happened.
okay.
But yeah, I believe it's to announce retirement from the sport after the end of the year, or maybe see out his 2-year contract and then retire at the end of next year.
Why would somebody that's winning right now retire?
Age.
Answer me.
Yeah, he's made his millions. He's happy. Like he's done what
He
he
has
wanted.
won World Superbike World Championship. Okay, granted he might win it again.
He's done what he wanted though. He's done what he needed to do. He's done what he returned to Ducati to do. So yeah,
Okay, well, Axel Bassani to factory.
Well, that's exactly my hope. But I've got it on record that it probably is going to be retirement. Which is why it's an exceptional press conference.
Yeah, exactly. The word exceptional really does throw me off in
Yeah.
terms of what it could
So
be.
I believe it'll be retirement. So yeah, hopefully Bassani to factory then. That'd be quite nice. I'd enjoy that. But yeah, so yes, we will see you next week for all things Junior GP, Le Mans, and WSBK. So thank you.